Hello, everybody. This is By the Book here, and I'm going to be going through some of the changes that has been shown, not leaked, but shown by the press release. The interesting new stuff that's going to be coming in PoE. I'm pretty high for this stuff. A lot of this stuff is really quite interesting. This video is probably going to run something like 10 to 15 minutes as I talk about the things on here. I'm going to go through the first ones kind of quickly. The golems look interesting, but we don't know enough about them. They probably are going to be a way to enhance clear speed, but I doubt they're going to be a main build because you only can have one down at a time. So, whatever. A summoner might be extra, might be something you throw into your onset ring or something. It'll be kind of neat. Vigilant Strike shares the same issue that a lot of melee skills do. It's not going to be able to be used for a main build efficiently because you have to run melee splash on it. You have to run multi-strike, and then so you're running. You have to run a lot of things just to make the skill even work. The mana cost is low, which is nice. It's not low, but it's good enough to be able to use. But my guess is this might be something to augment survivability, but that's not that big of an issue with melee. It's clear speed that's the big issue. I'm going to be harping on clear speed this entire video, because that's really what's important. This next one is, again, clear speed. This makes you have to kill things before you do damage. So, I mean, by the time you're killing stuff, the pack's already dead anyway, So the only time this is really going to be useful is if it can be used on Desecrate, which might be kind of cool, Desecrate chaos-based build. I don't know, might be something kind of interesting. If you use this and a spell that later on that makes your chaos damage poison stuff, maybe this is good enough. I don't know. You might be able to work this into a build, but my guess would be is this can't be used for a main build. Maybe with a Desecrate if it works with this. I'm not sure. But explosions deal chaos damage. So the thing is, I don't think it's going to work with Desecrate because this marks the enemies and then you blow them up after you kill them. So having to kill stuff first kinda doesn't work that well. So Rallying Cry is only going to be interesting if the damage increase is really large. The flat mana regen is pointless. If you're running a build that requires Rallying Cry to keep your mana regen good enough, you're probably not doing it right. Sorry to say. This spell's really cool. I'll go into this in a moment, though. Just know now that this scales with intellect. I'm going to talk about this when I get down to the staff that this goes on. So this is really quite interesting, but it looks like it's going to be used for one of two things. One, burn prolif. No physical damage, so no main normal attacks. And stuff burns faster. Oh, ignited by an attack. I just saw that now. Okay, so it's not going to burn faster for flame blast or stuff like that. So I think that the main thing this is going to be used for, actually before I go on, the attack damage at least his life is really an important way to word this. It's not physical attack damage. So I think this is going to be good with dual Dietuses, which is an axe that chills and ignites people. And they don't do physical damage, as far as I know. I'm not 100% sure about that. And this also will probably be good if you want to use a Wings of Entropy build with Herald of Ice or something. Really, really niche, but it's quite good. The life on it's decent, mid-tier. The resistances, if these can both roll up to 40 or something, then that's pretty solid. So we'll see. I'm skeptical, but I think if you were to run certain unique weapons in a build like this, you can probably get something that's pretty good. They're so close to being good, but I think the only realistic application of this is going to be shockwave totems. It's going to be pretty neat to see the shockwaves sucking stuff in rather than blowing them away. Maybe with something like sweep, but if you're doing damage to stuff to knock it back, you're already in range, so this just kind of prevents stuff from getting knocked away from you. Maybe it'd be a quality of life thing for heavy strike. I don't know. It doesn't seem that great. Crusader's Plate. So I see two things for this, right? One, they're trying to make it possible to run a bow build from the Marauder tree. There's a couple of reasons why. I'll go over them later. Perhaps this is a chest piece that you can run that has armor on it that you can run a tornado shot in. This is an effective 7-link for a tornado shot, but you have to get 4 green sockets on this. You need tornado shot, GMP, faster attacks, and physical projectile attack damage. That's 4 greens on an armor piece, which is not cheap to do. It's going to run you 1,000 chromatics or something to get that. But the Pierce Stance is really good. Like I said, it's an effective 7-link if you get a 6-linked, so it's cool. But I think the biggest thing that this is going to be used for is Lightning Strike, because with 15% pierce and like a 16 plus quality, lightning strike you're gonna have a 100% chance to pierce. So that's pretty big. Physical attack damage leeches mana doesn't work very well for lightning strike because it's mostly lightning damage. So I don't know. This might be useful. Is it going to be better than other armor pieces? Probably not. But it does have a good life roll. And the armor roll is kind of mediocre. You can get like 2k armor on something, so it's kind of whatever. It's interesting. You might be able to make a boat build out of it. We'll see. This item is converting fire damage to chaos. Good. You can use a fire spell and turn it into a chaos spell. But it also makes your chaos damage poison stuff, and that's not related to the fire damage. So any chaos spell you're using with this then becomes, poison stuff. If you want to look up item, I believe, what is it? I think it's Infernal Mantle. Not 100% sure. Yes, 25% of fire damage converted to chaos damage. So if you use Infernal Mantle, Troll Mantle, and the Consuming Dark, you'd have 100% fire damage converted to chaos damage. So you can use any fire spells if it's a chaos spell. So that's pretty neat. And normally the issue with that is you're losing all of your burn damage, right? But it makes your chaos damage poison stuff. So maybe this is something that you could do. Increased spell damage is always nice too. +1 fire gems. That's kind of pointless, really, because the only times you're going to be running a fire gem in here is like Herald of Ash or Anger, and neither of those work on on normal pure fire spells. So I don't really get the point of plus fire gems in here. Maybe I'm just missing something. But it's a 3-link, so you're not going to put your attack spell in there. Maybe like a Vault Righteous Fire or something. I don't know. This thing is really cool. I really like this item. The more I see it, the more awesome it looks. If you could either corrupt this for Culling Strike or get Culling Strike in your main weapon link, and the reason why you want that is because it casts socketed minion gems on weapon kill. So you're going to have a giant army of undead, summoned raging spirits, skeletons, zombies, whatever. But you have to get the kill with the weapon, so you don't want to get the kill with your minions. So getting Culling Strike will allow you to get the kill with your weapon. So if you could corrupt this to have Culling Strike on it, that'd be freaking amazing. I think it'd be pretty solid. The minion damage per 10 dex is whatever. Even if you got 1,000 dex, that's only 100% minion damage, but you're probably going to only get like 300 something. So it's like 30% damage, which is like one minion cluster. You're going to have to go to the Witch Tree anyway for the end requirement. That's way too much in to get on gear. So you're going to have to go up to the tree up there. So, I don't know. This is almost reflect proof, which is really cool because it's all chaos damage. So that's pretty neat. Anyway, I really like this item. I'd love to do a build with this. You would have to probably start out as a shadow or a ranger and get dex nodes and get projectile damage nodes and stuff like that, because you're going to be wanting to run like a tornado shot, some standard bow build in your chest piece, and then running a whole bunch of minion stuff in your and this. I don't know. It'll be really, really interesting. I like it. Serpentine Staff. This staff makes me sad. Try so hard to be good, but here's the problem. It makes all of your skills novas, which means you have to be in the middle of the pack to do damage, which means you have to spend 1 or 2 seconds to get into the middle of the pack to do damage, which is why melee is a slower clear speed than range to begin with. It's cool for some spells, like I think Flame Totem is probably the best thing to run this with, honestly, and but you might, if they do any buffs to like spell totems, you might be able to use a spell totem with this too. Spell Totem Spark or something like that might be pretty cool. But I mean, you could run this with self-cast Spark. People are saying Ball Lightning, but you got to get into the middle of the pack, man, which means clear speed and danger. Why not just run regular freaking Ball Lightning? It's probably about as fast clear speed, if not faster, and aren't tied down to a staff, a specific staff, which means you can get better stuff on it. I don't know, man. It looks really good on the surface, but it requires being melee range. Alright, now let's talk about the Ice Storm. So, things to know about the Ice Storm, like we saw before, it scales with intelligence, and they said that it is very similar to Firestorm. People have done some calculations at about 800 intellect. It has about the same DPS as a Firestorm. 800 intelligence isn't that hard to get. It requires specifically getting like an Astromentes and dual Piranha Signets, but for under 2 or 3 Exalts, you can probably get this item up and running. But let's look at the other things first. You get spell damage per intelligence, and you get increased intelligence. So intelligence gives you spell damage, it gives you damage overall. It's going to be pretty efficient, but it kind of locks you into an intelligence stacking build, which is alright. Intelligence gives you flat, or gives you percent ES, 1% per 5 of intelligence. So if you have 800 intelligence, which is probably the benchmark for this, that would give you 160% increased ES, which means you could run anything you wanted to. You could run CI with this without a shield if you wanted to, and have like 400% increased ES. You can get 10k ES with without a shield, which is pretty cool. You could run EB and have ridiculous mana, because intelligence gives you mana as well. Or you could run a hybrid ES and mana and have lots of very large effective health pool. Because with this build, you wouldn't even need to get that much ES from the tree. You could just mostly get life from the tree, have a 4 or 5k health pool, and then have like 4k ES or 5k ES on top of that. So you could do any of those. I don't think you would need to run EB with this, because you have so much intelligence that you'd have a very large mana pool. And so you could easily run a Clarity and have the mana regen enough to run a high level Arctic armor. With this, it's really cheap. It's an effective 7 link without any links in it. So you just 6 sockets and it's a 7 link, but you can't run Empower or Enhance. So, but you can run, you probably want to run Cold to Fire to mitigate your Reflect with Arctic armor. That would be one of the main links. And then just speculation, you probably want increased duration. Depending on how the skill works, you might want increased AoE or Conk Effect. It depends on how the skill works, we don't know yet. Spell Echo, faster casting, cold penetration, whatever. Things like that. Life Leech. You have 7 gems, or 6 support gems to work with. Plus level support gems doesn't really do that much. It's like 3% per gem. It's a little something, but it's not major. The issue with this is it's 0 quality. Quality is really, really big on Firestorm. What quality does is it makes the balls fall faster, so it's direct DPS increase. So you're sacrificing getting quality on this, a lot of quality, because most people run Enhance with Firestorm. So you're sacrificing a lot of quality, but what you're gaining is a really, really cheap 7 link, effective 7 link, along with also having a lot of defensive stuff from the ES. So I think this is going to be able to clear maps. I don't think it's going to be overpowered by any sense, because I mean Firestorm in game in theory is going to do more than this will, but we'll see. As far as leveling item goes, I don't know. I think if you wanted to use this as a leveling item, you'd want the stuff already, in your stash tab. You'd already want Piranha Signets and Astromentes and stuff like that to really have a really good leveling, because you could get yourself 600 intelligence at a low level, 500 intelligence, and have this thing doing a retarded amount of damage leveling up. You could probably blow through Cruel and Merciless with ease with the stuff if you already had a Piranha Signet and Astromentes, because those are low level items. But I don't know, man. We'll see. So the next section is one of the coolest things that's ever been added to this game. More customization in an already hugely customizable game. Pretty big deal. So, before I said that it looks like they want to make support for bow rangers, bow from the Marauder tree. They already have Iron Grips in the game. Iron Grip gives strength bonus applied to projectile damage as well as physical attack damage. But let's quickly look at it. Strength passives converted to dexterity. That's kind of meh. Unless you need dex to wield a bow. In which case, it's alright. Although, honestly, I think I'd rather get dex on my gear and just run strength from passives. Because, strength gives you damage, gives you health. Dexterity gives you accuracy and evasion. Health and physical attack damage is usually more valuable than accuracy and evasion. I'd rather just get dex on gear and get the strength notes from the tree, personally, most of the time. This is really cool, especially with that bow. They're trying to add more support for skeletons. I totally agree with them. Skeletons are pretty weak right now, but hopefully this makes them a bit more viable. This is ridiculously good if you can put it in a good spot. You can get like 28% increase to weapon damage with an axe or something. If you can get those nodes on a bow instead, that's more projectile damage than you can get anywhere else in the tree. If you can get this in a good spot, you could realistically get 100% plus bow damage. Huge. This is probably the coolest thing in this entire list right here. Additional curse. You could run 3 curses without any unique items and no corruptions. You aren't really ever going to run more than 3 curses. This is huge. It's going to kill a market on wind screams and Dodrid's damnings. But this is ridiculous. If you wanted to, you could run 7 curses, which is practically every curse in the game. This is really lackluster. You're probably never going to get more than 100 intelligence in the radius. And 10% chaos damage from 100 intelligence is kind of really weak. So I don't really understand the point of this. Kind of sad that this isn't like more, like 3 or 4% chaos damage per 10 intelligence, because you'd need that much to even make it worthwhile. But yeah, whatever, I could be wrong, I guess. This, I'm sure you can make something cool with this. Maybe you can run acrobatics with minions or something. Might be kind of neat. I don't know. But there's something you can probably do with this. I'm not sure. It would be interesting, but I can't really think of a direct way to do this that would be really valuable. And this is amazing. If you can save 3 or 4 talent points by putting this somewhere, that's huge. Free nodes, you know, this could mean very efficient skill trees. So I like all this stuff. It's awesome. I love the customization that they've added to this game, and I'm really quite happy about the way that this that they're bringing this more customization. I wish that they would make melee splash better. I had the suggestion that they make melee splash act like elemental proliferation, where the damage spreads amongst all things that are within proximity of each other. I don't know, but the way melee is right now requires way too much clear speed, way too much time to clear speed. Have a good clear speed, but anyway, so those are my opinions right here. I will be making future videos about the stuff in the expansion, and if you're interested, then subscribe, or whatever, if you want to see more videos. Thank you very much for watching.